On the road again. Today we are in the eastern Texas Panhandle, Highway 86. We are headed west. Just came through the little town of Escalante, population 124. Not sure where we're headed, just going to find places to stop and back roads to travel. Well, we love turning down dirt roads to see what we can find. Came across this. This Sargent Farms, and it said Caprock Canyon down here, but I don't see any way through. I think this is something made for horse trails. I don't know, but anyway, it's a beautiful day here in Texas. It's April 28, 2025. And here is our ride. We're in the truck this trip, and it's a beautiful day in Texas. Well, here is a county road, and we are going to pass on that one. It's really been rainy. That does not look like a good road to explore on. Well, we are going through the town of, right there's the sign, Turkey. It's Turkey, Texas. Well, it doesn't sound like much, but actually it is the home of Bob Wills. So he went a long way in his life, didn't he? Leaving Turkey, Texas. Well, here we are in Turkey, Texas. And look at this little place here. It's called the Turkey Roost. I'm not sure. Let's see what it says here. It says, oh, let's see. On March 2, 1836, Texas declared her independence from Mexico. Wild Comanches roamed the plains, rangers protected frontier settlements, and this building was not here yet. But what I want to see was right next to that little building. This is Bob Wills and his Texas Playboys. Look at that bus. That is amazing. Wow. Coming from a musical family. This is very awesome. The Lone Star State. Look at that bus. Oh my gosh. What does it say up there? Faded Love, of course. Oh, and look. How cool. Probably they just built this old stage right out from the bus. Oh my gosh. That is so neat. Oh my goodness. Oh wow, back in the day. Well, Bob Wills, he had his own special sound that he introduced to country music. And right next door to that is this old Phillips 66 filling station. The kind that very bus there would be pulling into, gassing up to travel the many highways. They have a Bob Wills Day last Saturday in April. Heck, I don't know if we just missed it or good for them. They need to do something for Bob Wills.
Well, we just ran around this Turkey, Texas, and found Superman's changing room right here at a phone booth on the corner.
Well, we are in Silverton, Texas. It's on Highway 86. It's just this highway's been all agriculture. But here we came across this old jail cell. This is Briscoe, I think it is, Briscoe County. And let's see what this looks like over here. Okay, well, here's the front of it. Bucky always has to look in the jail cells. Pretty cool old wooden windmill. Well, it wouldn't have held too many prisoners. Okay, what? Show me that.
Like somebody was trying to escape a long time ago. That bar's bent. This has been cut. Replaced a different bar in there.
Leave it to you, Buck Owen, to notice that.
Yeah. Pretty neat.
Well, we'll get a little history here. It says Briscoe County Jail, built 1894, of hand-cut stone, hauled here by horse-drawn wagons from Tule Canyon. Well, just a shot of some of this land out here. It's all agriculture. Not many cars on this road, still on Highway 86. Came across this arrow here, said a historical marker. So while Buck's reading the map, I just see what this says. Well, the wind was in the microphone so bad, I'll just tell you what the marker says. Well, this is near Tulia, Texas, in Swisher County. Commemorates General McKenzie, who ordered 1,450 horses shot on September 28, 1874, in Palo Duro Canyon to prevent their recapture by the Comanche and Kiowa Indians. And that is a sad story. All right, at this point here, this says Quanah Parker never forgot that nearby on September 28, 29, 1874, the U.S. Army shot 1,048 Indian horses. The sculptor here was Charles Smith. Texas Plains Trail Region. Okay, here is a marker that I guarantee nobody ever stops to see, because it's on this fence row. Even we had to back up to see it. It said marker up here, but it didn't say where. Okay, it says in 1876, English native John Summerfield, 1853 to 1918, began his work locating and surveying millions of acres of land in present-day Randall. Then different counties. One of the earth monuments he erected that year was located near this site. Became a point for surveys in many panhandle counties, which, by the way, don't think I've mentioned, but we have crossed the panhandle today. We started in Childress, Texas, and we are pretty much across the panhandle. Well, here is one of these long, long trains you get out here. This is, we are almost in New Mexico. Way to Roswell, New Mexico. Came through this little town called Elida, I guess, or E-L-I-D-A. A lot of little towns like this around here. There's just it's just times that used to be. I mean, it's just history. There's things of the past. There's just not much left in these towns. Put my mirror in, would you? There's a light of memories. Don't know what that used to be. Everything is just closed up. There's just no economy. A lot of New Mexico is like that. These old buildings. What used to be branding iron.
That's it.
And that's just about it. What little there is here is past and gone. And as I was saying, a lot of has-beens around here. We are in Kenna, New Mexico on Highway 70, which, by the way, goes clear across the United States. It goes right by my house, in fact, in Tennessee. But this looks like an old gas station. Don't know anything about it, but it looks like it burned to the ground. And the land around here, it's just flat, not much here. Mostly we've just seen telephone poles and railroad tracks, which can't say if we see any railroads now, but they're out there. Actually, there's the building, there's the railroad. It was behind us. And here's Buck sitting in the truck, sitting in the shade while I do my thing. There's an old picnic table. These cement tables have been here forever. They used to be what you would do if you were on the road. As I remember me when I was a kid, you'd stop at these roadside places like this and feed your car full of young'uns. You didn't have a lot of places to eat along the road. They weren't there and you couldn't afford it anyway. Well, here's another roadside, or what I would call attraction, because I like seeing these old places. Don't know what all this used to be, but obviously it was a pretty big place in its time. This is outside of what we just came through, this little area called Kenna, Kenna. Believe me, nothing was in Kenna though, but anyway, then it's got something in the back too. Another roadside find. Came across this. We are going to go back and take a look and see, just to see what this is. Put mirror in again. Let's see. Well, we were going along the highway. We saw this, turned around and came back to see what it is. I'm going to get out and take a better look. It is so windy here through the microphone, I had to just turn the sound down. This was the Frasier Schoolhouse, built in 1934, named for Lake J. Frasier. It was the last one-teacher schoolhouse. Hope there's no rattlesnakes along here. I was saying I hope there's no rattlesnakes. In fact, the story goes the teacher would have to check for rattlesnakes before the kids went to the bathroom. This was a 2-room schoolhouse. There was no electricity, but these windows let in lots of sunlight. Also, there was no running water. Lots of graffiti. I don't know what that is trying to say. Hope it's nothing bad. There were 24 students that first year. It closed in 1945 when the student population went down to 8. Very interesting place, a super roadside find. Well, Buck had to come to the UFO Museum in Roswell. And the story behind this is that in 1947, a rancher found some debris of sorts on his ranch that he could not explain, and the military said they discovered a flying object. Well, then a cover-up began about the whole thing, and many stories emerged about this being an unidentified flying object. By then, many folks had all these accounts about personal encounters. Well, they made a movie of it. Martin Sheen and Kyle MacLachlan starred. It was called Roswell, about the controversial UFO crash of 1947. Dwight Yoakam starred in it also. So it was quite an event. And of course it fostered other movies like this Fire in the Sky. Communion. Of course, Close Encounters. Everybody remembers that one. And of course you see weird things like this, but I'm not really going to focus much on that kind of a thing. And if you're really into UFOs, here's a whole library full of books. Cannot believe the number of books on this subject in here. And here is the collection of UFO research. This says Fate, January 1964 to 1965.
Ooh, let's look in here, boys.
And here you have, if I can read this, collection of UFO research. I guess you could come in here and sit down and really delve into this. So let's just get into one of these boxes and see what is in here. Report Center sightings, March 1968. August 57 to present in the small community of Vermilion, Ohio. Initial sighting when it occurred, 6:30 p.m. Lots of documented research. I mean, it's on just this one folder is full. It's amazing what all they got in here. Well, let me just read one of these stories. It says, in the summer of 1947, Farnsworth, this lady, Sue Farnsworth, her father owned a dealership and reported that he saw a flying saucer, and the military told him that he had seen something he wasn't supposed to see. Not a word to anyone, or they would kill all of them. Okay, here is a model of the supposed crash. So, if you're into UFOs, as I said before, this place has much articles, evidence of sightings throughout the world. So there's a lot to see here, and just a lot of stuff to read.
Such a concept was also referred to as the unholy 13.
Well, we are on Highway 70, coming out of Roswell. What direction are we going?
West.
West. It's pretty good view of this desert. Nothing much out here, not too many vehicles. And here is a structure we passed along the way. Don't know what it is. It's an old home, adobe house. Don't know how old it was. Well, in this county of New Mexico, Lincoln County, its history has got a lot about Billy the Kid, and actually I didn't know that, so I'm learning something new here. But we are going to head that direction, go into Lincoln and see what the story is. Well, in this actual valley, we went through the little town of Hondo, a town. It was just a zip, and you're through. But this Hondo Valley says people have lived here for 12,000 years by the Mongolian people. So I guess we'll continue to see this valley. So we are in this little town of Lincoln, I guess it is, looking for the Kid story. It's a beautiful day, just beautiful in the 70s. Blue sky. This says Ellis and Sons store. About 1876, the Ellis's fleeing commotion in Colfax County started a store in Lincoln. They supported the McSween side during and later after the war. Now, the Lincoln County War was basically a feud between two business groups who built two stores here and was really competing for the economic trade in this area. It turned into a pretty bloody feud and actually began to involve Billy the Kid. And this is called, I guess it's a Torion, one of Lincoln's earliest structures in the 1880s. This is what I was trying to read from an earlier plaque. This is the store I was trying to say in an earlier video. Tungstall. This is erected in 1877. It was a focal point in Lincoln County War. So let's see what this looks like along here. The old creaky wooden floor. This place is closed. Looks like it's closed, if you know what I mean. And here is the post office. As I've said in my earlier videos, I worked as a mail carrier, so I'm kind of always interested in the post office's zip 88338. Well, this is an old town, that's for sure. There's an old ruins there. That's a bed and breakfast. How about that? The Wortley Hotel. Little spot, coffee bar and gifts, but it's closed. Ran La Roca. Well, that looks like an old store. Established 1932. An old, golly, look at all the dwellings in that long porch.
Billy the Kid.
Yeah, we've got to cross over on the other side of the road.
Yeah.
Well, this is pretty cool. You know, they made a movie about Billy the Kid, and this is the site and the town that they used. This is pretty neat. Blazer's Mill. Not sure what that structure was for. McSween House. Of course, he's the guy that started the early store here. And there's the courthouse. Ooh, that is pretty cool. I'll have to watch that movie. Look at that. And the movies, they really make it so realistic. Let me go up these steps to get a closer look. Well, there's the saloon. Of course, there's no way to get in there. This says the patron store. Whatever that is. Coming on around here. Look at the view. They've got that old wooden fence around. It's quiet out here today. And a big kind of a, not an amphitheater, but lots of seating, but the grass has grown up. I don't know if it's been a while since they've had any entertainment here or not, but this sure looks like a stage. Well, John Chisholm was a cattle baron known as the Cattle King of the Pecos, and he just got swept up in the Lincoln County Wars. And this is the old courthouse. That sheriff's office up there. This top floor was where Billy the Kid was held and sentenced to hang for murdering a sheriff. But he escaped in 1881. And before we leave the story about Billy the Kid, he did not actually kill 21 people. that is a tale. He did kill 4 people, though, a blacksmith, 2 deputies, and a sheriff. Well, Lincoln is what I would call back home a pioneer village, basically an historic district. But out here are the old ranches and the real present-day life, which, by the way, is called the Billy the Kid Trail. Well, you can't go through Alamogordo, New Mexico, without getting a picture of the biggest pistachio in the land. The world, the world. This is McGinn's PistachioLand. Quite a deal here. You can take tours, and they have a real nice tourist stop here. After going down the long roads where there's nothing, it's nice to get into a place like this. But I guess the climate and soil is perfect for pistachios. So we're going to go inside and see what they got. So it is a nice gift shop in here. You can see they have products of all kinds, gifts and little pistachio pillows. And find something you want, Buck?
Now, look, they got pistachio coffee.
Pistachio coffee. Hey, that might be something to try. You said no, it won't. Anyway, let's check out and see what all's in here. Well, we can have a free sample, all right. Look at all this different samples. Lemon lime, margarita, habanero, spicy dill. I'm going to try a couple of these out. What'd you try?
Just regular.
Just regular?
Yeah.
Got no curiosity spirit?
No.
Try a margarita one.
Where's one?
See? Right there's margarita.
Okay.
Because you don't drink margaritas, so what would you know?
It's pretty good, really.
Alrighty. Well, we're still on Highway 70 when we came across this inspection station. El Paso's not too far from us. We don't know what they're looking for, but I guess we will find out. Well, he just said, okay, go on through, so I guess we didn't look too menacing. Well, this is where I'm going to leave you for now. Tomorrow we go to White Sands National Park and then to El Paso. I want to see the border wall. So bye for now, and I really hope to see everyone on the road for our next adventure.